Hi, I'm Joe, and welcome to my studio. In today's lesson, I want to discuss a trap that I see so many beginner students and some not so beginner students sometimes fall into. And that's playing with a poor technique with flat, floppy fingers. If you're just starting your piano lessons, then your hand is naturally going to want to play with flat fingers, and that's understandable. Okay? But it's something that should be addressed right from the very beginning by your teacher. However, it breaks my heart when a new student will come to me, and let's say they've been playing for a year, or for 2 years, 3 years, or maybe even longer. And it's evident right from the very beginning when I hear them play something that they don't yet have a proper foundation of technique built. So hopefully your teachers are at every lesson talking to you and discussing with you and addressing any poor technique issues that they may see in your playing. But what I think happens is after the student goes home and practices during the week on their own, sometimes they fall back into bad habits. And we all know how to avoid bad habits, right? Don't start them at all. That's right. And I'll tell my students that if you're going to go home and practice the wrong way, without thinking when you're practicing, don't practice at all. I would rather have you go play a video game than to practice the piano. And how many times you're going to hear a teacher say something like that? But it's very important that when you're practicing, you're doing it the correct way, because if you're doing it the wrong way, one, obviously, it's not going to allow you to progress forward in your studies. You're not going to get any better. But it's not going to keep you where you are. It's actually going to make you go backwards in your progression, okay? Because you're going to learn all these bad traits, all these bad habits, and then it's going to take weeks, months, whatever it is, to undo all of those just to get you back to square one before we can move forward in a positive direction on your studies. So why are these fingers, these round fingers, so important? Well, a good technique, first of all, allows us to produce a clear and focused tone at the piano. So you have to imagine your 10 fingers are not fingers right now. Let's think of them as drumsticks, okay? Because the piano, after all, is a percussion instrument, right? There's a hammer in there hitting the string, just as a drumstick hits the drum. Okay? So now imagine you're going to try and play a drum with a wet, soggy noodle that's dangling here, and you're trying to hit the drum. It's going to produce maybe probably a weak sound, if any sound whatsoever, right? So good technique on the piano allows us to produce clear and focused tone. 2, a good technique will allow us to control the rate at which the key goes down. Okay? So if we need a sound, a forte sound, it to be loud, we press the key down very quick. It goes down very swift, right? If we need it to be soft and gentle, we just press the key down slower, and it creates that sound that we need. So again, technique will allow us to control things such as that. Third, without the proper technique, you won't ever develop the finger control, the control in your hand necessary to play fast passages. And when we play fast, when we play something very fast, we're not only responsible for pressing those notes down, but we also have to consciously think and be aware of lifting the key back out of lifting your finger back out of the piano. And again, proper technique will allow us to have that control. And fourth, articulation. Articulation, without a doubt, will suffer if you're playing with flat, floppy fingers. You won't have the control to make staccatos as you need them, legatos, a mixture of both, whatever the passage of music you're working on is requiring. So in general, flat fingers equals a total lack of control. So please, if you find yourself in this category, please realize the severity of playing with flat fingers with a poor technique. It's the number one issue plaguing aspiring pianists out there, and without overcoming this hurdle, you'll never be able to fulfill and realize your goals in your piano studies. So please tune in to part 2 of this video. There's a link in the description below where I will discuss ways to practice developing proper technique. See you there.